to my channel. Thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing for those of you that are subscribers. Thank you for all your wonderful comments and support. So in this reading today, which is a timeless reading, you can come across it at any time in your life, and if you're feeling drawn to one of the groups or one of the cards here on the table, this could be a reading for you with a message for you. So this is a what do you need to know? What are your guides? What's the universe? What's your higher self want you to really pay attention to at this time? That's what we're going to be looking at. So with that being said, very quick intro. We won't waste anyone's time here. Group number 1, group number 2, group number 3, group number 4. The timestamps will be down below, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in your reading, and hopefully this brings you some insight and guidance into your life currently. So see you there. Hello friends, if you chose group number 1 here with this eagle card, this is your reading. So the eagle can represent a lot of different things. Of course, the eagle can represent perspective and getting a higher perspective because eagles soar from so high above. But this can also be a card of change and following your path. And there's a few messages here. First of all, for those of you that are currently, maybe in the thick of life, oftentimes we get really bogged down with a lot of noise. It might be time for you to kind of pull back and spend some time on your own to get a clearer perspective. So if you have felt like you can't make a choice or a decision and you're really floundering in particular, it's a good time to kind of pull back from a situation to see it from an outside perspective. So that could be, for some of you, confirming that you need to take a break, that you need to maybe take some time off for yourself, maybe to allow yourself to meditate more. This can also be a card that links into meditation in particular with this deck. And so definitely looking at things from a higher perspective. And like I said, meditation can be good for that. And I just had this in a personal reading, but so it reminds me of that. But sometimes meditation really is for seeing what kind of thoughts come to our mind when we try to let it rest. Are they negative thoughts? Are they good thoughts? What kind of chatter tends to come into our head when we're trying to kind of detach, right? So it's even meditation is just good for that, to kind of see where your subconscious mind is at. Because all that stuff, when you kind of quiet it down, starts to pop up into the surface level of our thoughts, right? So we have that. We also have career, work, and business. A new start is coming. The Chariot. And money matters. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, so some of you might have spotted a path recently, actually. Some of you might be pulling back in your life, trying to see where you want to go forward, and especially in terms of like maybe career, work, and business. And so I'm thinking for a lot of you, this is more money-based and more like career-based, life path-based reading. Your message is very much associated with that. But it feels like to me you're being told that some sort of new start's about to happen in your life, okay? What you need to know right now is that a fresh start's coming. You have new moon energy here giving you a new start, and as well that Chariot energy, which tells you that you're about to move forward on a path and down a path. Perhaps for some of you with the eagle energy, this could be talking about that sometimes you might feel like it's quite far away. Because if you think about that, it's like, if you thought about being in an airplane, obviously we never get to see really through the eyes of an eagle, but we can see it in a way through airplanes. It's kind of like we see everything from very far away, and it's hard to see kind of where we're going, but we know that there's a path. And I feel like a lot of you are kind of on this way. Now, the one thing I will say about that eagle card, again, coming back to that message, that overall message, is that sometimes change can be quite scary, or we don't always understand fully where we're going. But the most important thing is just kind of take one step, and then another step, and then another step, and another step. But really, honestly, guys, your message right now is that things will start to move forward. So if you've been feeling stagnant, or like things are out of reach, that maybe you're not meeting some sort of goals, do understand that some sort of fresh start's coming in your life, in that realm. Okay, so career, some of you might be getting job offers in the near future. Some of you might be starting new businesses. Some of you might be, and maybe you're being encouraged to start that business or to go down that new path. Okay, maybe this is also for those of you that have been feeling a little hesitant. This is a full-on go for it, a full-on yes, a full-on this is going to be successful. Okay, So yeah, that is what I'm seeing here for you guys. This is such a quick, like, little reading. I might actually take some charms here. Because the cards are just so straightforward. I'm so glad Spirit gave some straightforward messages today. Sometimes I feel like they're floundering, or like there's so much energy kind of going on that it's like I can't get clear. Just, here you go. This is your message. I always feel like they kind of get cluttered up because of all the energy. But this feels very concise, and I like that. Good energy. Okay. So for group number 1, what do they need to be aware of right now? What do they need to know? Okie dokie. Let's see. I feel like for a lot of you, this is also a time of deep intuition and knowing for a lot of you. And that's another thing that's actually associated with that Eagle card, that a lot of you are getting intuitive nudges, intuitive hits. Follow these nudges and hits as well. If you think about the Eagle too, although the Eagle has wonderful, like, I guess, senses, we could say that they kind of know when to strike. So keep in mind that it's always good to kind of pay attention to that gut feeling that you're having, because then you'll know more when to strike. You know, striking while the iron's hot is an example. Okay, so I do feel like a lot of you are awakening a lot of intuitive abilities. You're going to have an increase in intuition as well. We also have Taurus, Aquarius, and Virgo. Okay, so Taurus, Virgo, and Aquarius. So interesting energy, because, well, Taurus and Virgo are both earth houses that relate a lot to money and wealth and finances and that, such things like that. So that definitely tells me there's some sort of improvement coming, especially because Aquarius can be associated with our hopes and our dreams and higher goals. It can also be associated with maybe like the internet and putting yourself out there more, or reaching the masses for some of you. But high goals and hopes and dreams are often found in the 11th house. So there's that. We have this key as well. Let's see what else we have. Oh, wow, that's crazy. You remember when I talked about putting one foot in front of the other, even if you don't always know the path? And here we have a foot. That's like a total confirmation. I didn't even know I had a foot charm. I forgot. Sorry if you hear my dog pitter-pattering. He's nervous right now because his friends left, his little doggy friends, and so he's like all upset about that. He's not in a good mood about it. Wow. Even when it seems dangerous, though, look at the skull and crossbones. It's like, in some ways, it's like maybe you feel like it's a little bit scary, or you're not sure whether it's safe or something like that, too. But I feel like taking the gamble or taking the risk is really important here. Especially when it comes, like I said, when you feel that feeling in your gut and you know you got to go for something, you got to follow it. Okay? And I feel like I see these seashells, and I often think of seashells. See, I can't even do it. She sells seashells by the seashore. Oh, I did it. Okay, seashells. I often think of them as holding a lot of power and potential, kind of like hidden. It's almost like, I feel like when I go to the beach and I find seashells, it's almost like a gift from the earth, as an example. That's how I feel about it, and that's just what I'm picking up in this reading, that you have like a lot of gifts waiting for you to be uncovered, you know, as you kind of comb through life and you kind of take that step by step down the beach. And you know, it reminds me of that saying. Have you guys ever saw, I was raised in a very Christian household at certain parts of my life, and there was always these footprints in the sand, and there's a poem, you know, I think it's a poem or a saying, and it talks about how the footprints, there's always like these four of them, like two people walking together, and then there's times where, you know, oh, there's only one set of footprints, and the guy asks kind of like, why is that? And it's because, like, well, I think in this case it's like Jesus is saying, well, I was carrying you during those times. And so it kind of reminds me of like just following that path and knowing that you'll be carried throughout any kind of path that you go down, even if it's scary, by, you know, your guides, your past loved ones, your higher self. Like, there's so many things that work for you. Oh my gosh, especially when you feel like your friends aren't around anymore, like my doggy. Sorry, he's whiny. He's just so upset. Okay. So yeah, there, like, that's really what I get, that kind of message there. Like, keep walking and you'll be supported throughout the journey. And I also see a lot of happy things waiting for you, right? And I think a lot of you are getting blessings. We have this kind, free, true, brave, strong, happy, thankful, compassionate. It's this charm that just really talks about a lot of wonderful attributes. And I feel like a lot of you bring joy to people's life, and I feel like a lot of you are going to be able to kind of extend that to other people. And I feel like happier times are to come. Especially if you felt like maybe you guys are happy now, but I think it's going to be even happier. And we also have Nala here from Lion King. Now that makes me think of a friend, having the support of a wonderful friend as well. And that's interesting because we also have this, you know, the Aquarius charm. So Aquarius can be about friendship and friendship groups. So I feel like a lot of you need to look to your friends as well for support. And if they're not supporting you, well, perhaps find new groups of friends, especially if you feel like your friendship circle's been a little bit toxic, right? We have that skull and crossbones. Aligning yourself with better friends, friends that are supportive. Or any kinds of relationships that are supportive. We also have this heart here. So doing what you love, following your heart, listening to your heart as you kind of move through life. But I feel like a lot of key experiences are about to kind of open up for you, and you're being intuitively guided here. So again, listen to that intuition. It's very strong. And intuition is something that you feel. And the problem sometimes with intuition is that we'll have intuitive hits and we know something, but then our mind starts to chatter at us and tells us differently. Oh, you can't do that, or da 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 da. You know what I mean? Like all these kind of little thoughts go through our head. So don't pay attention to those. We also have the banana here, so telling me something sweet kind of awaits for you as well. So I think so anyways. I like bananas. A little bit rough on the outside, but very soft on the inside. But that is what I'm seeing for those of you that chose group number 1. That's the message you need to hear right now. Changes are coming, new starts are coming. Follow your intuition. And I think a lot of you are going to find that your money is increasing, jobs, you might be shifting jobs or making carving new paths for yourself. And perhaps this is just that confirmation that you're on the right path, okay? So take it as it resonates. But I'm wishing you all the very, very best. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you all in the next reading. Hello, my friends. If you chose group number 2 here, you chose the 3 Monkeys card, which has a very interesting message. So, as we know, the 3 monkeys are kind of iconic in Japan, and they represent the idea of, I think it's hear no evil, speak no evil, see no evil. I'm probably saying this wrong. Speak no evil, see no evil, hear no evil. Okay, there we go. I got them all backwards. Yeah, so this is an interesting group because this card often implies that you are avoiding a situation. And I think that's really what I'm picking up mostly. It does have another meaning, which could be about seeing the positives in life. So of course, maybe for some of you, there is a need to focus on the positives in life and the things that you kind of have already. But sometimes this is about, and I think for the majority of you, especially because I shuffled the other cards, I've seen them. I know what they're kind of, I don't remember every card, but that came out, but we have the Empress in reverse, and I feel like a lot of you are not fully seeing the power that you have, and that's what you need to know. So, like I said, with the 3 monkeys, sometimes we kind of shut our eyes to things that are going around us. Not only do we shut our eyes, but we kind of cover our ears, and then we don't say anything. And so I feel like there's kind of that combo of just like shutting down. And I feel like some of you might be shutting down on something. You're not really seeing the potential. You're not really listening to the potential. You're not really speaking it out. There's something here that you're blocking, essentially. And I find it fascinating that the Empress is here in the reverse, and underneath it we have New Moon in Taurus. Now Taurus is kind of associated with the Empress, right? So you guys have good things ahead of you, and I feel like you guys are not saying yes to something you know needs to be said yes to. Like, you know it needs to be a yes, but you're not saying yes. to yourself. Now, this might be about a certain hope or dream, but with that Empress in reverse, I think a lot of this ties into insecurity or not feeling like you have enough to give in the situation, or there might be something that's kind of holding you back here. Lack of self-worth is something that really comes to my mind with the Empress. Not really valuing yourself, not really honoring yourself as like the, the inner queen that you are, whether you're male or female, doesn't really matter. And appreciating your value as an example and the abundance that's available to you. I think a lot of you aren't seeing the possibilities, and I almost feel like a lot of you kind of say no to things that you should be saying yes to. And of course, for some of you, this might come from different places, but that Empress in reverse, as I said, does really kind of imply to me that there's some sort of lack of value, and maybe of yourself, and perhaps, a lack of abundance that you're not seeing currently. It's really hard when you're in a place that isn't positive to manifest positivity. It can be really hard. I've been there where I've been, broke as a joke, or had really terrible things, and I'm like, I'll never be happy, or, you get these things and you're like, it's just such a hopeless situation, in any aspect of your life, whether it's relationships or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really matter. Relationships, money, work, life. The Empress really represents abundance in all aspects. And particularly perhaps with like finances and stuff like that, and beauty. But I feel like that's kind of where you guys are at right now. But your guides in your higher self want you to know that things are happening. And also, with that 3 monkeys, I look over at the speak no evil. And we have to be careful with what we say, because what we say manifests in reality. Sometimes, not always, okay? When we have a negative thought or we say something negative, it doesn't always manifest. That's ridiculous, obviously. Because if that were true, everyone I know would be dead, and I would, I have anxiety. So certainly that's not the case. But when we say things that are not pleasant about ourselves, or we think things that aren't pleasant about ourselves, or we think things that are bad about our surroundings, or we think in hopeless ways, it doesn't really help raise the vibration of our life. And I don't think toxic positivity or false positivity is good, because it's not wrong to feel down, but staying down isn't necessarily healthy either, right? So I feel like for a lot of you, there's just, what you need to know right now is that I feel like you have an opportunity around you or coming up in your life that you need to say yes to, because it's going to really turn your abundance around. And what I mean by that is abundance could be in love, wherever you're struggling, wherever you're not feeling you have control, wherever you're feeling like you're not very fruitful, okay? What essentially, because that's what the Empress is really about, being fruitful. Fertility, being able to grow something, being able to kind of have an abundance of something. And it could be love, it could be relationships, it could be money, it could be self-worth, and it could be all of these things mixed together, especially if you're just feeling like overall you're drudging through a mess and you're not sure where you're going. There's this idea that it's coming. And I feel like for a lot of you, this is going to be an opportunity that requires you to say yes, to speak up, to see the opportunity, and to listen to your inner self, right? So some of you might be sitting on good ideas right now that you need to say yes to. Some of you might be knowing something, but fearful of it, and you need to say yes to it, okay? And here we have the card, affirmation, and it says, what is the truth that you need to hear right now? What needs to be validated in you? What will create inspiration and resonance within you? So, what is the truth that you need to hear right now? Why are you blocked? What do you allow into your life that it keeps you blocked in these areas? Is there anything that you're doing that could contribute to that? It's something to think about. Because sometimes we do block ourselves because we have low self-worth, or we think we're not valuable, or there's a lot of reasons why we do it. And I don't want to go into all those reasons here, because a lot of you will know what it is already, so you don't need me telling you exactly. But let's get some charms. Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. We have this little soldier that came out. I found him on at a lake in the sand. So this can be about powering on. Okay, this could be about trying to be strong, trying to be militant with yourself, trying to fight for what you want, as an example. Let's see here. This could also be about putting up boundaries when you're not. The one thing about the Empress in reverse is that sometimes that energy isn't really valuing itself, so it lets other people do things that they don't deserve, right? Because sometimes they think, oh, I can't say anything, I'll just ignore it. You know what I mean? So some of you might need to kind of stand up and be a little bit more tougher, okay? Now, which is really hard, let me tell you, I know. I'm a pushover, so. Oh, we have a lot of kitties here. We have Hello Kitty, we have another kitty, we have another kitty. So some of you might have I feel like for some of you, maybe there's a passed on left kitty that's saying hello. But that's just for some of you. But for others of you, this might be about valuing your independence. Cats really know what they want and what they don't want. And cats aren't afraid to say it. And they're not afraid to kind of go off on their own, generally. To kind of detach, as an example. They're very... If I have to say, if I would put the Empress as an animal, it would be a cat. That's just me. I think so. I think cats are pretty, they take care, you know, they clean themselves, and they just like, there's something very regal about cats. And then you have Leo, another kitty cat kind of thing, well, a lion, right, is representative of Leo. This is about, you know, putting yourself out there. This can be about confidence and self-assuredness. It's about valuing yourself, being prideful of yourself, and that's that kind of thing, right? So I feel like for a lot of you, there's a need to value yourself. Perhaps also to kind of open yourself up to new experiences. Leo is the house of romance, okay? This is a sign associated with the house of romance and dating. So for some of you, there might be some sort of, you know, love life improvements that need to happen, or will happen. With Sagittarius here, for some of you, I could see maybe somebody coming in from abroad, or someone coming in through a spiritual circle, as an example, or someone meeting someone at university or through higher learning. And I want to apologize if you hear my dog in the background whining a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't show up on the microphone, but he's just very upset because his two doggy friends left, and he's not pleased about it. So he's kind of been a little bit whiny since they left. So he's okay. He's just not happy his friends are gone. So we also have this shell here. And, oops. I flipped that over, didn't I? Come here. We have this shell here, and I was saying this in group number 1 because the shells came out as well. And 2 shells came out. And I always think of shells as like things on the beach, like hidden treasures, things that you find, gifts from the earth. Accepting the gifts the universe has for you with open hands, and saying yes to things, and not letting your fears, as an example, get in the way of saying no. I also feel strongly that for a lot of you, there's some sort of soul connection going on, and soul pathway opening up for some of you, especially for those of you that have really been concerned about your love life. I feel like soulmates are around or about to come in, or you might be in the presence of a soulmate. I wish I could go into that deeper, but I don't want to. I know it might not be for everyone, but this could be about soul's calling too, following that soul's calling. We also have musical notes here. So again, kind of singing your own tune, but also music might be very healing at this time. Be careful sometimes with what you ingest as well with music, especially for those that are more on the empathic side. Those types tend to get really affected by the music they listen to, so make sure that you're listening to something that's a little bit more high vibrational, especially if you're in a low place and you can't really handle something low vibrational. And what I mean by that is there's nothing wrong with that, but sometimes we can just feed feelings that don't need to be fed, or awaken feelings that don't really need to be awakened at that time. You know what I mean? So choose wisely what you listen to, what you ingest at this time, okay? We also have the 4-leaf clover, so it does tell me that luck is coming your way. And look at the crystal teardrop. So do know that I think the tears, they won't last forever. Especially if you're scared, or there's something kind of deeper going on here in terms of like feeling lonely or sad or unvalued or something like that, okay? We have never, never give up and love and be loved. Wow. So never give up on trying to find love. Never give up on trying to be who you are meant to be and following that pathway. And using, here we have the recycling stuff. And you might be recycling a lot of ideas and things in your life right now. Maybe it's a time to do that. To recycle with love. Recycle ideas that you have about yourself. Recycle things that aren't really serving you anymore, as an example. Recycling experiences to use them again to help another person, right? Because even when we go through bad things, we can bring these things to other people. It gives us a sense of empathy, you know, and understanding. I remember even when I had my first miscarriage, and I finally understood that pain. Not that I didn't before, and not that I never felt sorry for someone, but it's different when you experience it. You know what I mean? There's just a different feeling to it. And look at, oh, by the way, Hello Kitty has a little instrument. Look at that, how cute. A little, like, what is that? Like, a little guitar and sombrero. How cute is that? Okay. But we also have this elephant, and I do feel like for a lot of you, there's loyal people to be found around you, or finding your tribe is going to be really important as well. Make sure that with Sally here, she's very loyal, and make sure that your loyalties are being, you know, allocated to the right places, you know, for the people that value it. And I do feel like for a lot of you, you do have some wishes coming true, and don't be afraid to wish. Don't be afraid to say your wishes out loud to the universe and to your guides. Ask for these things. But again, here we have this the sun. So I do think happy times are coming towards you. And again, this kind of gives that Leo energy of like, Leo is a very happy sign, very joyous sign. And the house, it's, you know, the 5th house is very much about hobbies, games, having fun, excitement, dating, romance, you know, lovey-dovey stuff. It's just a good house, and for the most part. And it's all about enjoying yourself. And by the way, the 9th house is also quite a lucky house too, so and you have Sagittarius up there, so you have a lot of luck coming your way. Perhaps travel in the future. Like I said, some of you might meet a new romantic partner that's a foreigner or from a foreign land, perhaps, or again, someone who will expand your perspective and things like that. But again, I could just see some of you traveling for fun, being more independent. Solo trips might be good at this time. If you've been thinking about taking a solo trip, that might be very healthy for you, and it might unlock a lot of things in your heart. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing for those of you that chose group number 2. I really hope that this reading resonated with you. I hope it gave you some insight. Let me know in the comments below what you thought, but wishing you the very, very best. Take care of yourselves, guys. I'll see you in the next reading. Hello, my friends. If you chose group number 3 here, we have rainbows. That is the card that you chose. Now, what do rainbows really tell us? Rainbows are so much associated with a happy ending, with the, you know, it always comes out after a storm or when it's been rainy. So when life is a little bit rainy, we always know that a rainbow can appear to kind of show us that there's still hope. It's a symbolism for hope in our life, right? And beauty. It's kind of a reminder that no matter how challenging life gets or how many negative things kind of happen to us, there's always like hope for the future. So you're definitely being told that for sure. So yeah, I like that because, you know, clouds, and that's why I love the meaning of the clouds in Lenormand, is that it's like kind of temporary problems, because clouds kind of come and go. They kind of pass just like every storm passes, right? So some of you might need to hear that at this time. And maybe for some of you, you're going to be experiencing rainbows in the near future and kind of glimmers of hope for the future. Okay? Now, your other messages. We have within a year. Okay, so we'll see how this plays into it. We have the World in the upright and Strength in the reverse. I remember they came out like this. Okay. So yeah, problem with having a white desk now is everything gets on it and then I'm like getting annoyed. We have Waning Moon. What do you need to release? And Courage. What makes you invincible, unstoppable, indomitable? How can you conquer your fears? What do you need to cultivate courage? What is the act of bravery needed right now? Well, this is a very interesting message to come out. I was kind of blown away at how, I still get blown away. I read cards every day for people, and I still get blown out about how the universe really just like lines it up for us. We have courage here and strength in reverse. So I think for a lot of you, what you need to know right now is how can you cultivate more courage into your life. I feel like a lot of you are probably holding on to something that doesn't really serve you, and you know there needs to be a release of it. The world is about a graduation, about a completion of a cycle, a completion of a journey. I feel like for a lot of you, you're not letting go of something. You're holding on to something really tightly when you know it's no good. And particularly, even in this strength card, this line kind of almost, from this direction, it kind of looks a little bit more scarier, I think, from the upright. I feel like here it looks more like it's angry. So it's almost like you guys are letting go of something. You need to let go of something that isn't very maybe friendly to you, nice to you, or good for you anymore. Is what I'm feeling, especially with the surrounding cards. I think there's a message here of encouragement that if you were to kind of let this go, to find the courage to release something, that you would find that in the future, plenty of happiness awaits for you, because we have this card within a year. So within a year of letting go of this thing, you would be a totally, completely different person. In fact, with the world here, this could tell me that once you let go of this, you will be at a place of completion, of understanding. Perhaps you'll be in a different country or a different place altogether, or in a totally different situation in life. The world can be about that, about travel, as an example. So some of you might even be traveling. But again, it just talks to me about you being in a completely different place, in a sense of wholeness as well. And also, the world card, the woman's up for display. Everyone can see her. And that's always kind of the image of the world in a lot of tarot decks, including the classics. And I feel like for a lot of you, that's really telling me that you'll be in a place of recognition. But you'll also be in a place where you feel whole and complete, and as if you can be fully seen. And everyone would kind of see it in some kind of way. I also feel like you'd have a much better understanding about your path going forward as well. But yeah, there's certain things that you need to kind of release within yourself. Now this might be, I want you to how pick a card readings work, and generally tarot, it's very psychological. We need to look at what our intuition tells us when we listen to these things. Not what our fears tell us necessarily, but what do you know you need to release. I wanted to say let go of and release at the same time. What do you know you need to let go of? What comes to your mind? What's the first thing that comes to your mind? Because that's probably what it is. Maybe you had a few things come to your mind. Maybe not. But I would follow that reaction you had. Is it self-deprecating thoughts? Is it a relationship? Is it, a job, a career, a living, a place of living? You know what I mean? It's going to be different for every one of you, but you need to kind of look at it, and you're being encouraged. You know you need to do it. And in fact, actually, this is something. I was actually listening to James Van Praagh. I like to watch him, and he has a series called Soul Care. And I feel like some of you should go watch his most recent video, which, oh, darn it. Who was it with? He wasn't there. And some of you might later come across this and you won't see his most recent video because he'll already have other things up there. But there's a life coach on there that was talking about change and how scary it can be and letting go. And I felt like I needed to hear that message, especially for myself. But maybe some of you should also listen to it. If you want, I'll try to link it down below in the comments, okay? Because it's still live right now, I think. As I'm saying this, I kind of had to tune out of it, but I'm going to go back and watch the rest of it later. But some of you might really do well with listening to the message that man has in that particular video. The other thing I wanted to say is that when I really get this song in my head for you guys, and it's Slow Dancing in a Burning Room by John Mayer. So that song is about a relationship, but the overall meaning and the general meaning is that we're going down, we're slow dancing in a burning room. So it's like something's crashing, something's got to be let go of, that it's no good, that it's toxic, that it's unhealthy, and it's kind of like, it's about to to explode, you know, basically, or completely, you know, just burn down. But sometimes that's change is scary, and so some of you might need to find that courage to release the things. And like, again, this might not be, I know that song is about relationship, and that's not really what it is for all of you. Some of you, this is going to be habits that you have, ways that you talk to yourself. This might be, again, relationships with family members, friends, or you know, a partner, or it could be in your job, your workplace. People often too get stuck in careers or work that they know isn't for them, that they know doesn't bring them happiness, that they know it doesn't bring them joy, and they know, and they keep holding on. Sometimes it's because, oh, everyone's counting on me. We have a lot of reasons as to why we do this, but I feel like for a lot of you, you know what it is that you need to let go of. You know what it is you need to release. And the universe here is promising you, your guides are promising you, your past loved ones are promising you that there is a rainbow at the end. Within a year, you'll be a completely different person. So let's get some charms. Interesting. So we had, oh shoot, sorry, so clumsy. We have Snape coming out. That's very interesting. I'm trying to think about how he might tie into this specifically. He often actually kind of stuck in sort of a mood of where he wasn't letting go of certain things himself, actually. And it became like, it's almost like he became an angrier person, if you think about it. He was kind of grumpy and stuff like that. So I don't know, maybe some of you have some ideas about how this fits in. I would be very curious to hear them down below if you want to. Let's see here. We have the oogly eyes. Oh, we have the Arthur Fist of Frustration. No matter where. Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. We have this fleur-de-lis, and the first thing, that was actually the first charm I noticed that fell out, and it makes me think of loyalty and fidelity. And this might be saying that you need to let go of certain allegiances and certain alliances in your life. This is going to be a confirmation for some of you, okay? Not all of you. So take it if it resonates. We also have the turtle, which makes me think of very slow growth, slow moving, slow progress. And maybe that's why it's hard, because it's like, oh, I want it to just be over like this. I don't want to deal with the consequences. I don't want to deal with the slow journey. You know what I mean? Because we have here, find joy in the journey, you know, as well. So that kind of ties in there, to just enjoy the journey for what it is. Try to find happiness in it. Okay, we also have Jack here. Makes you think of like having, you know, massive goals and desires. Time is interesting. The time keeps ticking. You know what's awful too, and this is just a reminder, but sometimes when we hold back on things, we end up finally going, and I've experienced this quite a few times in my life, where I put things off, and I put things off, and I put things off, and then I was like, why didn't I do that? And when I finally break and I do it, it's like, why didn't I do that sooner? I could have done that years ago, and I would have been a much happier person. Time keeps going, you know? And sometimes that time is like, yeah, it's like if you know where you need to go, you know where you need to go, even if it's stormy, right? Here we have this compass, you know, and it guides, you know, ships, right? We use compass to guide us. And again, it can guide us through storms, the best path through a storm as an example, around storms as an example as well. But I feel like following your inner compass is really important at this time too. And again, I think this promises here with the watermelon that there's still some sweetness to be found in the journey. Yeah, I always look at watermelon and I think of seeds, and seeds are kind of annoying, you know, but it's part of the joy, right? It kind of shows us that sometimes life has seeds that we have to spit out, but there's still a lot of sweetness involved, right? There still can be a lot of happiness found, and, you know what I mean, it still can be worth it, right? We also have this heart with wings, so I think about letting your heart kind of fly as well, allowing it to yourself to be vulnerable as well. There's also sort of this message of, I do feel like for some of you you're getting a message from like a loved one in particular, because we have a few things here. We have I love you to the moon and back. We have these two hearts connected. We have this heart that's flying, like kind of with wings, and no matter where. I feel like for some of you, if you've recently maybe lost someone, or maybe there's just someone you're missing at this time, there might be a message here to you right now about that this person's with you no matter where you go. That they're kind of with you at all times. We also have this multicolored heart too, so a rainbow heart. So again, following that rainbow that's in your heart that you know you want to go to, that idea that's out there that you know you can go to. And here we have a leaf. And I always think of leaves as like things that, you know, they fall off the tree. And sometimes it's like if the tree knows it has to release it, right? It knows it has to go. It knows it's over, right? So knowing when to let go. Because yeah, although autumn comes, winter comes, spring always comes again, and there's regrowth and rebirth, okay? We also have this pine cone, or grapes, actually. What is this, actually? That's a good question. I think it's a pine cone. Or is it grapes? I'm not sure. We have Aries here, so sometimes needing to be a little bit selfish, a little bit self-focused, a little bit not afraid to kind of boldly go. Aries is very courageous usually, energy. It's not one that hesitates too much. It's the energy of the warrior who kind of just goes right into battle, you know, and starts new journeys. It's also the first sign of the zodiac, so it's really kind of that fresh energy of the journey. So a lot of you are kind of needing to embark on this fresh journey as well. There's also a sense of independence here with this kitty cat. Happiness, again, frustration in your life. And okay, that's interesting about the snake charm coming in here and that Arthur charm. It's like the more you kind of don't embrace these qualities, the more you don't embrace yourself, the more you don't let go of something, the more negative you're just going to feel. You're just going to keep feeling this negativity. And it's like you're grasping onto something, but it's like it just makes you end up making you mad or unhappy or, you know, whatnot. We also have Ariel here. So Ariel also represents this idea that, you know, she's like that whole new world. So again, I feel like a year from now, again, you guys are going to be in a whole new world. Like it's going to be totally different. Wait, that's whatever. I totally just mixed up the songs. Wow, I can't believe I did that. Hold on. No, what is it? Under the Sea. There's something that's like that though. Now I can't remember any of the Little Mermaid songs. I can't believe it. Well, anyways, whatever. I said I misspoke. Maybe it was on purpose. Oh gosh, that's funny. But no, really, she does end up having a completely different life, a completely changed scenery. And it's not easy, right? There are some hardships, things. If she wants to be with Eric, she has to let her dad go, her family go in some way. That she knows she has to kind of depart from something. So again, and what's comfortable to her, right? She's used to being under the sea, yet she knows she craves something different. So again, following that gut instinct to kind of experience something new, to wish for something new, to allow yourself to grow as an example, and to know that you're loved no matter where you go, that you'll be happy no matter where you go as well, no matter where, right? And then we have this. It's like, I feel like a lot of you, I don't know, maybe here with this energy, it's more of a like bugging out about something, worried about something, like, but it's like, you know, you want this thing. I don't know. That's an interesting charm right there. But I feel like a lot of you have this key here, and you're the key to kind of unlocking these changes. It might be a lot based on your own decisions. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing for those of you that chose group number 3. I'm wishing that you guys have a lot of strength at this time, that you make the choices that need to be made, that you let go of the certain things in your life that aren't serving you anymore, and that you find yourself on this journey. So I'm wishing you guys the very, very best. Let me know if it resonated down below in the comments. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next reading. Bye-bye. Hello, my friends. If you chose group number 4 here with this card, Doorways, this is a reading for you. So what do you need to know right now? So this card, Doorways, really talks about doors opening and closing. When one door shuts, another opens. Some of you might have had a door shut recently in your face. And there might be a reason for that you're going to realize fairly soon, okay? So I feel like a lot of you are kind of in the process of where certain doors are opening and certain doors are shutting. And finding that there are reasons for this as well, okay? So because we have here this full moon in Gemini, and it says the answers you need are coming. So right now as I'm filming this, we're actually in Gemini season. We do not have a full moon in Gemini this month, or I don't think we have. We're going to have the eclipse that's going to be in Sagittarius, which opposes Gemini. But anyways, regardless of that fact, that doesn't really matter. This is a timeless reading anyways. It does feel like some sort of answers are coming toward you that are going to help you perhaps understand why certain things haven't worked out in the past as well. I also see a lot of you having new doorways open in front of you that have a lot of potential, okay? Now, with the Magician and the Express Yourself Clearly card here in particular, I do feel like a lot of you are in the process of creating new opportunities for yourself. There might need to be this sort of energy of expressing yourself more clearly, so making sure that you're speaking to people about what you want to see, as an example as well. I feel like here we have potential, and it says, what powers and opportunities are waiting to be explored, activated, and manifested? What is the trajectory of expansion? How will you choose to shine and grow? And this is really interesting because it sounds like you have a lot of doors opening for you, a lot of opportunities. Some of you might also be kind of floundering between different choices, different decisions, different pathways. Because think about it, when you come to a room with like 4 doors as an example, maybe like that could represent 4 different pathways in life, or 4 different ideas, or 4 different projects, or 4 different jobs, or 4 different you know what I'm saying. It's like, I feel like you guys are going to have, especially for those of you that feel like you're not sure which path to take, which door to open, I feel like you're going to get the answers for that fairly soon, like maybe some more information about it that will help you understand more. As well, for some of you, if you did recently have a doorway closed, you'll find out the reason as to why. So what I mean by that is, like, say you recently, applied for an apartment and you didn't get it. You'll know why, because you're going to get something better. There will be a different thing. Whatever kind of has been shut in your face, you're going to understand why it is, because there's always a reason why that happens. Okay? There's always a reason. If a person doesn't work out, it's because another person's actually going to come in that will be much better. And I promise you, it's almost always like that. That you'll get some sort of, there's a reason why it's closing, and there's always a better reason as to why. So, yeah. The other thing I could say too is that there is that message with the doorways to not overthink yourself, okay? Because sometimes when we have intuitive ideas or intuitive nudges, we'll often let our mind interfere, and our mind starts to come up with all kinds of different things in our head that kind of hold us back, right? So some of you might need to kind of, if you're feeling, it's like kind of finding that difference between that solar plexus, heart chakra, like reaction. It's like that knowing versus not. Sometimes our brain can mess with those functions in particular, but generally when I found that I've had a good feeling about something, or I didn't have a good feeling about something, it's really located in my solar plexus in particular. That's where I get a lot of my intuition from, and where I feel the most. That's actually one of the most active parts of my body, where I get a lot of things. And I feel like for some of you, paying attention to that feeling there, but not when your brain starts to go and then it changes the feeling there. Because sometimes our brain will start to go, and then we'll start to feel this weird heavy feeling there in our solar plexus area, or we'll feel kind of bad in our heart chakra, like that area. You know what I mean? In particular, it's like that upper tummy, chest area. When your thoughts are kind of dictating that feeling, like if you say you once felt hopeful there, and then your mind starts to work, that's bullshit. is what it is. It's bullshit that you're coming up with, okay? So don't pay attention to that. Try to ignore those types of thoughts that come in and kind of change that feeling that you had originally, okay? Because that's just your brain playing with you or messing with you, your subconscious, you know, kind of like messing with you. It's like kind of the negative thought patterns that get in there. So just don't like listen to that kind of bullshit, because it's just, it's bullshit. I feel like the girl from Stranger Things. It's bullshit. But it's true. It's not true, and that's not intuition. When you get that, those racing thoughts that kind of overthink everything, that's not intuition. That's as I've kind of already said, bullshit. Okay, so I do feel like for a lot of you, there is some sort of potential pathway or door that you're looking at right now, and it might involve some sort of expression of yourself. Maybe it requires you to be more authentic to yourself, or more out there, to put yourself out there a little bit more. And I feel like for a lot of you with that Magician card, you're being encouraged to do this, that there is a lot of potential in this idea, in this plan that you're thinking of currently. Because the Magician really is about turning your visions into reality. I feel like a lot of you are going to get some answers about turning a vision into reality. You're going to come or stumble across information that's going to help you cross this pathway, or like, you know, through this doorway, essentially, is what I'm getting. But I do feel like a lot of knowledge is coming to you at this time, or is about to unfold for you, that's going to help you bring more action to certain potentials in your life and certain doorways. And again, I think for a lot of you, you might have a realization as to why a previous doorway was closed or shut, you know, maybe prematurely, or maybe when you didn't want it. It's hard when we're in that moment to see why. Like, why did this happen? Why did that happen? You know, like, why is it being blocked off for me? It was going so well, you know, or it was doing, I thought this was the one, or I thought, you know, this situation was going to make me happy. And sometimes it's just to lead us to the next thing, because something in that situation leads us to something better. Maybe because we start thinking about certain topics, or somehow it aligns us to that next point. Okay. I also feel like for a lot of you who have been really doing a lot of hardcore manifestation work and visualization, you're going to start to see doorways open up. Okay. So if you've been working on it and you've been doing manifestation work, it's gonna start to pop open doors. Okay. You're going to start to see results. Okay. Just stop there. Okay, that was enough. I took a lot of them. I just kept like grabbing them. I kind of close my eyes when I do it, so I can't really see what I'm doing. So we have a lot of charms here. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. Let's start off with zodiac signs. We have Scorpio. We have, Scorpio's right over here. We have Scorpio. We have Virgo. We have Sagittarius. And we have Gemini. So you might have these signs, you know, deep in your natal chart, or like somewhere in your natal chart, that are prominent. And what I mean is like maybe having personal planets or angles in these signs. But the other thing I can just say in general is that what I find interesting is we have some sort of growth here. First of all, we have Gemini and Sagittarius. These are opposing energies, okay? Now, it tells me that maybe some of you are going through bigger goals, right? Gemini can represent like lower learning, whereas higher learning is represented by Sagittarius. So some of you might be making leaps into higher ways of thinking, higher learning. As an example, maybe instead of local travel, foreign travel, or local people versus foreign people. There might be some kind of thing going on there. But we also have, you know, broader communication as well, perhaps. And let's see. Well, Virgo can talk about our health and wellness, our routine, as an example. So that might be something that you could focus on in the meantime. But we also have Scorpio, which talks about a lot of transformation as well. So I do feel like you guys are going through some transformation. And again, Gemini tells me that there could be some sort of communication again coming in, and there that confirms that full moon in Gemini energy of communication coming in, that it's going to change things. So, okay, we have these 2 feet here, and this tells me about kind of taking one step forward, keep going, one step at a time, and kind of keep going forward on something. There's also hope here, a ribbon that says hope. So again, this might be telling you to have hope in the situation, hope in the journey. For those of you that are having maybe family health problems or health problems yourself, maybe there's that, because we have that Virgo charm and then that hope charm as well. So it might be telling you to have hope that in the situation that everything will work out the way it's meant to. We also have best friends forever, so I do feel like you guys have a best friend around you at this time. We also have a love between a grandmother and granddaughter is forever, so some of you might be getting a special message from a past grandmother, or maybe again a grandmother on earth still that wants to maybe contact you or wants you to talk to them more. We also have this don't look back, that's not where you're going, and it's almost like that you're not supposed to really look at those doors that have closed in the past, just kind of like they closed, that's it. I'm moving forward though, and I'll find other doors to enter. You know what I mean? Some of you need that message. We have be, to be yourself. Makes me think of that song by Audio Slave, Be Yourself, is what came to my mind when I saw that bee card. I mean, bee charm. We also have the starfish, about possibilities, expansion, kind of like movement. And we have 2 butterflies. Wow, okay, strong butterfly energy here. So some of you might be seeing a lot of butterflies at this time. Again, this kind of represents transformation coming, answers coming, new pathways coming, new things coming into your life. And again, telling you, especially, you guys out of all the groups really have that don't look back. Like, stop looking back, stop looking at those doors that closed. Don't worry about them. They closed for a reason. And again, we have this kind of independent cat energy here as well. Organizational energy here with this closet. What do you need to put in the closet? What do you need to take out of the closet? You know what I mean? What tools do you have in your closet that could help you kind of move forward? What do you need to kind of put in the closet maybe and recycle? Like, or what do you need to take out of the closet that's just sitting there in your subconscious that needs to be kind of cleared out and maybe donated elsewhere or thrown in the trash, you know, depending. We also have love and be loved. So bringing in supportive relationships, right? I think for a lot of you, you guys have, if you don't feel like you have that now, you're going to certainly have it soon. Maybe like a soul connection coming in that's going to make you feel good. It could start out as a friendship. Maybe for some of you, this might be romantic. For some of you, it might not be. It might just be platonic. I can't promise you anything because I don't necessarily see it as being one or the other. For some of you, it might be romantic and best friends. You know what I mean? It just depends. We also have this tree of life, which makes you think that you guys have had a lot of things in your journey, and there's still a lot of growth to be had. I do feel like a lot of you are getting some kind of information coming in for sure. Some messages coming in, some from overseas, possibly, or from a distance, with this particular charm right here. Sorry, my stomach is growling like crazy. It just loves to do this when I'm recording. It's like a thing. And I think you guys will be quite mind blown by what kind of information is coming in pretty soon. I think you're going to be mind blown. And we have you can survive anything. So knowing you're a tough cookie or a tough cactus that can really withstand a lot of things. We also have Wuthering Heights, which is a very tragic novel. Maybe Wuthering Heights, that story has something to tell you at this time. We also have Rapunzel here. So maybe for those of you that felt kind of trapped in certain situations, know that there's hope out there for you, that there are new things to kind of learn. And again, there might be the need to leave certain things in the past as well. You know, for some reason, the whole situation from that movie with Mother or whatever comes to my mind about how it was almost like she had this somewhat of attachment to Mother, but Mother wasn't very good for her, right? And I don't know why that came to my mind, so maybe it'll resonate with somebody, or that part, or you'll know what I mean by that, or how it might resonate with you. Don't take it if it doesn't. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing for those of you. I feel like a lot of you are going to have new information coming in, a lot of changes coming in, massive changes, a lot of support here for you with these changes as well. And again, try to be discerning too, like Snape. Try to be discerning in your life, but not too negative at the same time. Find that balance, okay? So that's what I have for you guys that chose group number 4. I hope it was helpful. I hope it was insightful. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all in the next reading. Bye-bye.